Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's First Law series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts,
Archlector George,
and Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
and we continue our coverage of the Age of Madness trilogy with a little hatred. And we cover no unnecessary sentiment, friends like these, and sinking ships. So let's get started. As usual, folks, you know we got to thank you for your continued support. It's so important to us. George, we've been having a pretty good month so far in terms of the viewership, right?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been picking up. I don't
Love
know
it.
if a lot of people are behind, but we trust
Oh,
you to catch up.
Yeah, we trust you to catch up if that's the case.
Do your duty.
Well.
You will, or else the Archlector will send his practicals after you. His practicals being the stray dogs in the alley. But, you know,
We don't have any stray dogs here.
it's hard to find good help
They,
nowadays.
they eat dogs in England, don't you know?
Oh, is one of yeah. So again, join the join the Discord. Join if you haven't already, and just we'll send you the invite link if you want to do that. It's
You
been
just send us an email because that's the easiest way to reach us. It's just circleofthewordpodcast@gmail.com.
at gmail.com. Just go ahead and do that. There's been a lot of good stuff in that Discord lately, especially a nice little treatise about the gulags, which depends on your taste. But yeah, again, so just thank you for your continued support. We love you because you love us. So it's only conditional, but we appreciate it. So with that, we will move on to our first segment, which again, real quick, is our community interaction segment. George, I know you want to say something about the memeing every chapter extravaganza.
Yeah, so there hasn't been one this week, which there should have been a couple, but it hasn't been filled in, and I think that's all of our fault, really. I'm putting the blame mostly on me because I did say that I would do some, and I
George, you gotta blame yourself anyways for everything, so it doesn't really count.
It's all
Yeah.
my fault. It's my fault.
You are
best of
less
us.
than wretched. Oh, you get on that, folks. Come on now. Come on.
Mhm.
Sir Spaceman, don't do this for nothing. You gotta
And
get on
I
it.
think
Yes, he does.
each one of us three should make one for
Yeah, you're right. I
keep
should.
morale high.
Fuck.
Or
You're right.
put-
I should download a meming thingy and do something. I should. Mematic or whatever it's called. We will get on it, but we also call upon you, the populace, to get on it as well. So
The people.
the people. So with that, we'll move on to our first chapter read through, and this one is No Unnecessary Sentiment. And this one is it's an interesting one because we have the coming together, the melding, if you will, of Inquisitor Victorine den Teufel and Savine den Glocta, businesswoman, aka the female Jeff Bezos, apparently, and they're in a carriage together, and obviously Vic has Tallow with her, and Savine has Lisbeth with her, and they are heading towards Valbec. And I thought this was an interesting play in terms of the dynamics because we first see it from Savine's perspective, where Savine is internally struggling with the heat and all the pomposity. I guess you could
minces.
say,
minces.
besides I was going to get to that. I was like, how of course the dress and everything while dealing with the heat and while dealing with her lady temperament. And something that us three straight white males know all about. We're experts.
Hey, to be fair, we did actually talk to the Servant of Talons about this on our very first episode where she was on with us.
yeah,
And we did ask her if it was
definitely-
accurate, and she said it's different for everybody, of course. But it does seem to be overall accurate. And it was,
I don't even
it-
remember that episode. I was too drunk for
said
that one.
especially compared to a lot of depictions otherwise.
Mm.
Gotcha. Okay.
It definitely
okay.
does not have a men writing women feel about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Joe has come along and written his characters very sympathetically, even though Savine is a He's a monster, you know.
A monster. That's
She is a
hilarious.
monster. And Savine is obviously dealing. She's doing her best to, exhibit all the perfect manners and everything like that, while internally struggling, and sometimes maybe even second guessing her at parts, but then internally admiring Vic for the fact that Vic gives nothing away. She doesn't have to dress in corsets, so she's probably super comfortable, right? Just airing her stuff out, whatever the case maybe you want to call it. But then when we see Vic's perspective, we get kind of like a mirror, a mirror
It's the
internal
classic
monologue. Yeah,
points chapter.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Where Vic,
Yeah,
And
and
I love that. I think Vic's immediate, the second that Savine is like, oh, I bet this would, it'd be so much better to be Vic and wear what I want and do all that. And then Vic's like, oh, my leg hurts so fucking much.
but she won't position herself to be in a more comfortable position because she doesn't want to be seen as weak at all.
I like how they both have to exist by certain, the ways that people see them, their perceptions, but they're completely the opposite. So Savine always has to look regal and dignified, whereas Vic has to look rough and ready at all times, even though she might want to just like chill out for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But they're obviously the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's great.
Different standard. Harrison?
kidding. Yeah, I like how they appreciate that of each other too. Like they both kind of respect each other for the same reasons that they are proud of themselves. Like they have this understanding without using any words. Cool.
Mm. You definitely get a sense of it, like a verbal back and forth, because they both know each other's mindsets. Because obviously Savine's dad is fucking Glockter, and so is Vic's boss. So they have that in common, and they both know how the game works.
Yeah.
So the fact that they can talk to each other like that, no matter what they think of each other, is it's so interesting.
That's a good point, George, because it's very telling of the title. No unnecessary sentiments. Like they are kind of playing a little game with each other, trying to figure each other out just a little bit. But at the same time, like you said, they know the game, they know who each other are, they know their roles. So I think it's very well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we should point out that the reason that they're in the same carriage together is because we knew Savine was going to Valbec to talk to Colonel Valamir about like, oh, you got all this profit now. It's a little suspicious, considering you were owing money before. And I'm assuming Vic is also, from what we last remembered, the conversation she had with Glock, I think it was, that she's heading to Valbec to root out insurrection. And I believe maybe Glock kind of just said, hey, ride together, that kind of thing. Talking about the Archlector, Glock, not Savine. And so that's how they ended up being together here. And I do like how Savine progressively just gets more annoyed with people, especially with Lisbeth. She goes, I'm about to choke her before Zuri gets back.
I also like how Tallow, like obviously we have this view of Tallow all the time, where he is
the worst poker player ever.
Well, right, yeah, like he's like, oh, his heart's on his chest, and he's made of wax, and he's sad. But I like here a lot because knowing what we know later on, he really is being genuine here. He probably did grow up like really poor, and Glock enlisted him, and he's just really good at his job. But here, he's like a little kid. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, can I really have this this treat? And they're like, sure. And he's like, wow, that's amazing. It's like I don't think he's fucking around with that. Like he's not like Baez, or he actually, in a way, he is like Baez. Like people like Baez likes tea. It doesn't mean he's not, quote unquote, a bad guy. Mm-hmm. So I like that here. How he's just kind of being he's being genuine. It seems like authentic in the scene. So
yeah, and obviously the scene where Savine asked Lisbeth for the sweets, and these sweets are apparently sugared fruits, right? Which sounds delicious, right? And apparently, as soon as they open the box or whatever, Lisbeth does, then the smell hits Vic like a ton of bricks, and she immediately starts salivating, even though she's not hungry. And I like how it's a because it's a callback to her time in the camps where, when you're starved, food comes to touch a special place and you can never quite go back. So even though she might not be hungry, it's just she's immediately like starving almost in a sense. And Savine obviously, in all the proper manners and everything, offers her the sweets, and Vic is like, "Nah, we're good. No, thank you." All that, and then, but then they offer it to Tallow, and Tallow looks at Vic, and Vic's like, "If you want, go for it." And he's like, "Ha ha," and he's like, "Thank you," and then, well, he doesn't say thank you just yet, right? Then he takes one.
This is the reason why Savine hates Lisbeth so much, because she's like, you really should say thank you.
I wanted to ask you about this, George. So when he goes, "Oh, it tastes like sunshine," and Lisbeth goes, "You really should say thank you." Vic notices. Savine says, "Don't worry," and Savine hit it well, but Vic noticed a twitch of annoyance on her face. So is she
So that's like
annoyed?
a big piece, isn't it? Like it could
Yeah.
be that she's annoyed that Tallow didn't say thank you, or that Lisbeth intervened. But I think from what we've seen before, it's definitely implied that she's angry at Lisbeth instead
Maybe, but then when later on, like when they leave the carriage, right? And Tallow goes, "Thanks for the sweet, my lady." Then Savine goes, "Such wonderful manners deserve a reward." She gives him the whole box. So I wonder, maybe, yeah, like you said, maybe it's just both. Why not? Why not both? Right?
No, I think this is probably her again being like, oh, why not be charitable? She said herself, so she doesn't eat them. So it's not like they haven't really any value to her. Maybe
Right.
she was planning to give them out at this dinner party that we have later, or
Yeah.
maybe not. But she makes that choice there. But I think that maybe that is just one of those, like in the first chapter, where she was like, "Oh, why not give this silver coin to an urchin? Because it's generosity."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And another interesting thing about this dynamic that you had mentioned earlier, George, is I like how on one hand Savine admires Vic. Like, I think Vic is wearing a sword or very clearly has a weapon on her, and Savine goes, "I can't believe I wore my stupid ass sword to this. I imagine in front of Vic I must look like a fool." Right? And then we get Vic's perspective, and Vic does say something like a ridiculous sword with like a very
it's
extravagant
all
hilt.
jewel encrusted and stuff
Jewel,
like that.
yeah, but she goes, at the end of the day, she goes, like, Savine looks spectacular.
Mm.
I like that little mirror.
Well,
comparison.
and Vic accepts as well. She's like, she can understand that this is what Vic might have had a bit of part of if she hadn't, if her father hadn't been arrested for all those financial crimes.
Mhm.
Vic might
That
have,
corrupt politician in.
and she's like, oh, it's a what could have been kind of moment, which is,
Yeah,
I think Vic has to push it down very quickly because she has
she
to
does.
not think about that too much.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
It's like finding out like you didn't, you could have won the lottery, but you, I don't know, you forgot to get a ticket that week.
Or you miss a couple numbers or something like that
Yeah.
number. Yeah.
Oh no, if you have the exact same numbers every week, and you do that for 20 years, and then one week
That's
you miss
better.
it, and those numbers come
That's
up.
better. Yeah, that's better.
It's like that
It's
disappointment.
depressing. That's what it is.
It is extremely depressing. But then Vic, like she's done her whole life, she just pushes it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously at this point, Vic, and Tala, Vic tells the driver to stop. Her and Tallow will go on foot from here because they stop like halfway. They go their separate ways. Vic does the thing where she starts to, smear mud through her hair and everything to blend in, and obviously the chapter ends when Vic snaps her fingers and goes, "All right, now give me some of those sweets now." So she'll take them, but not in front of Savine, which I enjoyed.
Yes. It also too. There's like this. There's all these parallels between these two characters. But one of them is like appearances. They have the same thing, obsession with how they look and how they sound and what they say. Vic is obviously for like, in her mind, there's both for work in a way, but in her mind, it's like a defense mechanism in the terms of like using it to manipulate people to try to get what she wants. But it's basically the same exact thing that Savine does too. So I think they both are kind of recognizing that in themselves as well here. Joe, the reason that I'm glad that we're not doing as much line by line is honestly it's just really hard to do because either we're going to have to go line by line or we're going to have to talk about it overall. because there's so many parallels and subtext and quotes and stuff inside of these in the new trilogy. It's a lot to cover individually.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and then that's the end of that chapter. So, I mean, like Harrison, how would you rate it?
I think I'm gonna give it a 6 and a knuckle. I think it's done really well in terms of the writing. It's nice to have these characters meet. They have an understanding. It's enjoyable, and so I think it's just written really well. So I'm gonna give it that rating.
George?
I reckon, yeah, I'd say 6. It's good. I like it. It's short, but there's a lot of back and forth. And this is one of this is one of my favorite kind of Joe's chapters where it's just people talking back and forth, and there are subtexts and details and things that get brought up naturally. This is a really good way to do world building and character building.
Mm-hmm.
And he just does it so well. He's got it down to an art at this point, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, short, and there isn't a huge amount of meat there. So 6.
Okay, sounds good. I like when Harrison, you said 6 and a knuckle. That felt good to me. I like that number. I think I'm going to do that.
That felt
What?
good. It's a good
Felt
number.
good. I like it. I like it. It felt right. It felt right. Good dynamics between Vic and Savine, and then obviously the almost the imposing dynamics between Tallow and Lisbeth, obviously as the second or their seconds. I just and I enjoyed it because they're not fencing, but they're kind of dancing around each other in a way.
Yeah.
But Savine is being pleasant, and Vic is being as pleasant as Vic is because she's made out of fucking wood. But I enjoyed it. So yeah, 6 and a knuckle feels good to me. So with that, we'll move on to our next segment, which is our best meme of the week. Georgie boy, that's you. Take it away.
So, as we said earlier, there hasn't been many memes this week, or there's been none this week at all. So I'm going to have to go back and pick from the Meming Every Chapter catalogue, which is always fun. So this is from about 2 weeks ago, and it's Hummingbird Butcher. And funny enough, it's about Vic as well. And this is from Questions. It's like, Vic, and it's the bit from Lord of the Rings when Bilbo's like, after all, why shouldn't I keep it? And it's a sad boy with big eyes who reminds her of her brother in the camps.
It's so ridiculous. That's great.
It's a good one though. It's a good
It
one.
makes
I
so
love
much
it.
sense. I have no idea where half these memes come from, but when you
You
read
know,
that actually makes sense.
you know what's even greater is that whole scene is actually indicative of that entire scene for some obscure meme reason. You know,
Yeah.
Gandalf is clocked up, and she's like, "You want it for yourself," and he's like, "I'm not trying to rob you. I'm trying to help you." Whenever she's like all resistant to being open and honest.
Oh wow, that makes a huge amount of sense. Actually, I should have got
So
more
silly.
votes.
Yeah, she got my votes.
So yeah, thank you very much, Hummingbird Butcher, for that.
Thank you, Hummingbird Butcher. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. And so we'll move on to our second chapter read through, which is Friends Like These. And this one's purely a Savine Dan Glockta chapter. This is a funny one because I think Joe does dinner scenes where there's either awkwardness or animosity or whatever the case may be so well. He does them so well.
He does. He really does.
Love it. So obviously she's in Valbeck now, and she's at the dinner table with her second Lisbeth, Major Valimir. Valimir.
I like how you call her second, like she's from the north.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You get it.
I do.
You know.
It's just funny. It's good.
We got Major Valamir's wife. We have Superior Rizanow, right? Rizanow, who is the, I think aforementioned. I think the Archlector Glockta had talked about him during Vic's last chapter about the communications between him and the Superior. So he's there. And we also have we might have somebody else. I can't remember who, but I know we also have Gunnar Broad's daughter there as the maid. Oh, and we have the city's mayor, Lord Parmesan, Parfait,
But
Lord Greek Yogurt. Lord Parmholt. I'm
My
sorry,
God, I actually have to look at it. Yeah, Palm Halt.
Parmholt.
This is one of those names that Joe's like, you know what? Why the fuck not?
Very true. Very true. And so, I mean, obviously, they're in the middle of summer. And it's incredibly hot, and they're all sweating. And Savine is dealing with that, obviously, in the dress, and like we said, her menzies, as it's
It's
called.
just this scene is immediately uncomfortable, isn't it? There's just like
Really
this horrible food, horrible company. It's
well,
hot,
I think it
sweaty,
makes it
in
seem
pain.
like it's everything is like I get the vibe everything's like moist in here.
It's
Everything is like
swampy.
wet.
Yeah, it's like swampy and humid and nasty.
Yeah.
What a scene, and we all feel that. You know, you feel that through the page.
Especially through family gatherings, you know?
I mean, you know, a dinner scene is like a classic trope of like Western literature. Like, they come up all the time, from like Plato to like Shakespeare and everything in between. It's
That's a
just a
good
really
point.
good way of getting characters down and setting up a situation.
Yeah.
And
Good point.
it's just done fucking excellently. I love it. I want to point out very quickly when the food comes, Savine calls the jelly that she served a vile jelly, which is what Glockter calls his eye. I think it's Last Argument of Kings.
Yeah, I was gonna point that one out. It's really good. She uses bile jelly because I wonder if she like it's one of those cool things where she probably heard Galacta talk about this, you know, passively, this bile jelly, you know. And so now since she thinks it's something gross and slimy and despicable, she's like, what a vile jelly. It's great. It's one of those nurture things that pop up so much in this series.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the way that they're really it's very good at reversing sentiments in a line. I love the way she's like, oh no, there's a lovely jelly. It was a vile jelly.
Yeah, obviously, from what I know, Menzies will potentially affect someone's taste during the time. I'm not going to speak too much about something I don't know about. So yeah, but I do want to point. Go
Also,
ahead.
like a point out that like upper class people in the past, a lot of the time the food isn't about how it tastes. It's just about showing off what you can buy, like how much stuff you can buy.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Interesting. And one thing, yeah, so like here we see Colonel Valamir for the first time, actually see him since the Heroes. And I do want to point out something I guess we skipped over for the first chapter read through is when, you know, Vic kind of shows a knowledge of Savine's workings, at least generally speaking, that Colonel Valamir is too inflexible to work under Midoric. So it looks like what Croy had talked to Midoric about, I believe it was at the end of the Heroes, didn't really land. How long do you think that lasted, that dynamic, him working under Midoric?
I reckon he was probably there for the first Syrian war and something went very badly wrong, which is why he's no longer in the army, but he still calls himself Colonel.
You know, so that's the thing. Is he officially not in the army anymore?
Well, it seems so. If he's just a business owner and he's just like chilling out at his house.
I mean, one thing, he is pretty old now. He could have retired because he is pretty old.
And then
he's
he's
the same age that West was, so it means she's blocked his age roughly ish.
Right. You would keep your rank, your designation, right, in retirement?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
I mean, a lot of people do, but I think it's more of like a pride thing, isn't it?
Well,
like,
and plus he paid for his commission too. Didn't all the officers pay for the commission?
So to be fair, the commissions tend to be time limited. So
time, okay.
I feel like though it's the one aspect of that though. I think you're totally right, George, because Colonel Valamir is totally the kind of guy, like as they talk about here, even in the next couple chapters, where he's like, back in my day, you know, I was a colonel of the king, you know. And I'm like, it's like, come on, man, you were in logistics, bro. You weren't up there fucking leading charges.
Exactly. Yeah, he was just a quartermaster, and I was like, my name is Colonel Valamir, and he's like a fucking 70-year-old man. Like, oh, fuck off.
Refresh my memory on this too, by the way. Is Valamir the same colonel that West like lost his shit at?
Yes.
So threatened him to a duel outside.
Right. So we saw him.
He's also in the Heroes.
We saw him in the original trilogy and in the Heroes, and now here. Okay. Right. So And I think there is. I think maybe it's the next. I think it's the next chapter or so with Valamir. That doesn't Valamir say something to Savine, going like, "I knew your uncle West," and he actually is kind of like regretful or remorseful of like how he acted towards West. I'm going off vague memory.
We get there. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about spoilers in that way yet. But.
No, okay, all right. What are you talking about? We talk about.
I mean, specific. If there's a specific scene that's not relevant to the character yet, I don't want to talk about.
All right. My bad. But I like how here that Savine's kind of noticing a couple things. Like, there's some armed guards around the house. She goes, "Is this necessary?" And then that she notices how when she wants to look at the books, Valamir's like, "Oh, I'll bring the books here," and then she goes, I'll travel. I'll go there instead." Obviously, to kind of like head off any potential, let's say, editing, unapproved editing. And Valamir and Risen now like, maybe not a great idea, which is interesting.
I like the fact that they're just immediately like, yeah, you don't really want to go down there, dude. You don't. It's bad. Because we know that even like they've probably been in the carriage, so it's not so bad. But out on the lowlands in this place, the smog is just so thick that people are getting sick from it.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to go down to that level.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, still do now.
No, Jesus, that's crazy. And I do like how Savine's asking about the breakers and the burners or whatever, and Superior Risenal is like, "There's no breakers or burners here." And then the very next chapter, he's like, "Breakers and burners, what's up?" Oh, sorry, I just had to point that out. Just also hilarious.
It is hilarious.
And I like how they try and set up this like new part of town, so it's like the gentrified bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got new streets, model streets, closed-in drains, like not like everywhere else, which has open sewers.
Yeah. Well, I think a big part of this is like, Savine. This kind of reminds me a little bit of like on a much smaller scale of whenever Glocta goes to Dagaska. And they're all like, "Oh, everything's actually fine, Superior. There's really no need to worry." It's like the same kind of dynamic, just on a smaller scale with lesser people, smaller people and lesser times. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's cool that they're like, "Yes, I mean, you should look at this and look at this." But that illusion gets broken because Savine is not having it. She starts asking questions.
Yeah, like when she asks, May is there putting some jelly, the vile jelly, on Savine's plate, and she goes, she talks to May. She goes, "What's your name?" And obviously May is a brand. She's never been a maid before. She doesn't know what the fuck to do. May the maid, and she goes, "Oh." And she asks her about Valbeck, and she basically just straight up like being honest. It fucking sucks, bro. That's the energy that May is giving, and Savine's like, "Really?" And Mistress Valamir is annoyed, you could tell. And then obviously May, I think, drops a glass, but she catches it. But she is obviously embarrassed, and Savine's like, "Hey, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Thank you. You can go." And then as soon as she goes, Mistress Valamir is all, "Foolish, wayward girl. I will have her gone in the morning." And then Savine goes, "Don't do that." And then
I like that Savine seems to be genuinely like upset by this.
Yeah. She goes, "Don't do that." She goes, "Well," and Mistress Valamir goes, "In my house, I do what I want," kind of thing. But then Savine is obviously just annoyed by just their that interaction with the entire group, their personalities, how she's feeling, the heat, all that stuff. She goes, "Look, don't make me insist," because she asked for honesty and she will not see May punished for it. She'd been punished for every time she spoke truth to an investor. She would have never been able to make you also rich, which is a nice little, don't forget, it's me that you're rich.
The compassion she shows for May is the same kind of compassion she shows for Tallow, and the same compassion we actually do see a little bit in her very first chapter, where she does want to like, for lack of a better term, help the children, if you know what I mean. Like like children. She does have sympathy for them. She's not some cold-hearted fish. She just prioritizes money first, but she can do both. She will. That's why she gave the whole box of the lights to Tallow. I mean, she liked that he was happy by that. I think it's something to note now that she's done a couple times.
Yeah, and I also just off. She seems to be somewhat protective over kids. She likes Hildy. She likes Tallow. May is not a kid, but she's younger, right? You would say
Right?
teenager.
Yeah.
And so we see that, but then we also see like when Risen now touches her hand, he pats her hand. He goes, "I assure you, all the workers are happy." She whispers in his ear, "Touch me again, and I will stab you in your fat fucking neck with my fork, you cocksucker."
This description of his hand being like wet dough, like engulfing her hand, is such an unpleasant feeling. Like, good for you, Sabine. What a fucking perv. And he's like, the whole time, he's like touching her arm and like, "Oh yes, dear. Oh, honey, you have no idea." And like, he's all like, he's just a gross little man, isn't he?
He's just a freak. I don't like him.
He's funny.
I think that's the point, though.
Yeah, you're not supposed to like him. And he Savine earlier noted how she describes him how he was eating like soup or something so disgustingly. And he's just like
He's like,
delicioso. Just very bombastic, I guess you could say, or obnoxious, I guess I would say.
Yeah, obnoxious is the word.
definitely.
Yeah. And I like how apparently there's like this absurdly long spoon that one eats jelly with. She takes a bite of it and is the most disgusting thing ever. But she goes, "My compliments, such a delicious jelly. You simply must give my maid the recipe." I mean, that's the end of the chapter. So we get a nice like dinner scene where obviously we have the different characters, the Valamir, the couple, and Risen now. And we kind of glossed over, and we should probably touch on it now, but we'll also touch on it in our character spot later. But Lord Palmhall, who was sleeping at the desk at the table, basically, and only like when he woke up with a start, he wasn't confused. He knew immediately. He just went into like listing bullet points about how great Valbec is.
Yes, and I like that he's like here randomly. Like he's not like obviously he's the mayor, of course, but like it's not like somebody prompted him. Like, "Oh, elbowed him." Like you need to remember your line. Remember what we talked about whenever she comes here. He just already knew what to say.
Just knew. It's like Mistress Valamir did elbow him, but he didn't miss a beat. So she elbows him. He wakes up, and then he's like, "Valbec is the highest GDP of the entire."
Yeah, he's like, "Valbec's production is off the charts. We have been producing more of the Union's goods in the past 20 years than anybody has in the past 2 years." and then right after he gets done, he immediately starts going back
to sleep. He's fighting those demons. Oh, I love
He's fighting the demons, and I love that. Like the descriptions. I mean, Joe's descriptions are always amazing. We haven't talked about too many of them, but like he was dangerous. He was leaning over dangerously far. He was about to just fall in Lady Valamir's lap.
She's pretending not to notice.
Yes, and until she like kicks him or whatever.
So good,
great.
So good. So I mean, that's the chapter. I mean, boys, how do you rate it?
This is a good one, and like I said, a dinner scene is such a good way to set things up and set the tone up for the next part of the story. So, and this is done so fucking well. I reckon I'm gonna give this one a 7 and a knuckle.
Wow, nice.
Harrison?
I think it's done really well too. I mean, I think this is like there's a lot of ways to do setup chapters, and we've already seen worse examples in the previous chapters of this book, and they're improving quite a bit more now. And so I would say I think I'm gonna give this one a 7. I think that it's really, really good setup scene. It's a good dinner scene. It's a good play. She's got like it increases the like, how do you have a scene have tension? You just fucking make somebody suffer the whole time. You know what I mean? Like there's some tension here because you're kind of worried that Sabine's just gonna like lose her mind because she's like got all this stupid bullshit to deal with. and everybody else is kind of like worried and obviously hiding stuff. So
It's,
I
it's
think
something that
just,
everybody can relate to, isn't it? I mean, have you ever had
Yeah.
to sit through a wedding when you had the shits or something? You know, when you just when you just don't want to be there, and you know you have to be, and you're just like, just in another world.
Yeah,
But
Exactly.
Savine does manage to keep it on top, you know, despite being a monster. But you know,
Despite being
You're so funny, dude.
Harrison, would you give it
7.
7? Yeah, I was gonna do 7 as well. I enjoyed this a little bit more than the previous chapter. You know, as we talked about, Joe's dinner scenes are always great, and this is no different. I think. One thing I did want to, you guys were talking about it just now, and you know, a couple things come to mind. Very similar Savine is to her dad, quote unquote, right? In the sense that both Savine and Sand Danglocta hate the pretense, right, of societal norms or manners and things like that. However, Sand Danglocta, he's, you know, especially when he was, you know, after the whole post torture thing, kind of eschewed those norms and practices. Savine follows them religiously, even though she abhors them. And another thing that Savine shares with her dad, quotes, is that as soon as there's like a sniff of in the air of like, oh, someone's trying to hide something, even if it might not be related to me, or maybe it is, I am going to figure it out. I'm going to investigate.
She pulls it up by the root.
Yeah. So it's interesting how she picks up that, like, picks that up from Stan Danglocta, even though obviously not been trained in the Inquisition, no desire to work in that department, that institution. So I thought that was interesting. Obviously, the descriptions of each, really, of Rizanau, Lord Palmhall, and Mistress Valamir were great. Colonel Valamir, I'm sorry. Not a lot there, but we'll see some more of him a little bit later. So I'll give it a 7 out of 9 fingers. And with that, we're going to go right into our character spot. And boys, I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but who are we shining that spotlight on?
Mayor Palmholt.
Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor Palmholt.
Mayor Palmholt the First.
And why are we talking about him, boys?
Yeah, this is just a classic trope at this point of the leader, like Guslav, who's just a
Yes. Oh my
not
God.
like Guslav, but like in the way that he's just completely checked out and he just comes to do what he needs to do and then fucks off home again.
And then fucks off home again. That is
It's totally true. Yeah, I think you're 100% right.
so funny, dog. I mean,
It's like some politicians that I could name, but I won't.
you know, isn't he? He kind of reminds me of like that whole like phase of like, what was that one Republican guy, Mitch McConnell, where he just kind of like froze a bunch of times and just like and that's Lord Palmhall at the dinner table, and then he snaps.
There are more examples than I could ever name.
Yeah. Then he snaps up like the Manchurian Candidate or something like that.
Yeah.
Valbec is the greatest city in Adjoa. And the Union.
I need to watch that again.
He's got Guslav vibes. I think that's what it is.
This is so good. It is so good. I like how the fucking mayor, is basically an ornament at the dinner table, right? Because obviously we get the sense that we know that Superior Rizanau is the superior in Valbec. And I guess if we're following the traditional lines of organization in the Union, that technically the mayor is the one with the power in Valbec, but really we know it's the Inquisition, because the Inquisition can always just arrest anybody, even the mayor. And I do like how it's Rizanau kind of being the one that's, even though he's not the mayor, he's the one that you might expect to behave like a overfed, spoiled, privileged ruler. He's the one acting like it, not the mayor, because the mayor is too busy catching up on sleep, I guess. He's narcoleptic.
I think part of that is too is like we haven't talked about it too much yet, but I was planning on talking about it at some point. Is the Inquisition is like, you know, in the original trilogy, you're like, oh yeah, they're just like an organization, but here they're like everywhere. You know, they're doing things. They're expected to be a certain way. Everybody's just afraid of them. So like, even though the mayor is there, he's the mayor. He just like does governing duties. Written, he's supposed
To
to
an
be
extent.
the actual. Yeah, he's supposed to be the actual like force that is in making sure there's law and order, because that's what is expected of him now at this point.
Absolutely, it's definitely puts home the point that the Union has become like completely authoritarian under Glockter and Paez. Oh, probably again. And the Inquisition are just a full-on KGB at this point.
Yeah, at this point. And I think if we look at the original trilogy,
They weren't in the first trilogy, like you were saying, sorry, Jeff. You can black bag somebody in the street, but they still needed permission to arrest the head of the Guild of Mercers and stuff like that. They had to go to the closed council.
yeah, and I think because I noticed like if you think about it in the original trilogy, right, the Inquisition was one of two arms of the law enforcement side of things, right? Because then you had the High Justice Moravia. What was his side called? The Justice Department. I don't fucking know. So
The DOJ.
The DOJ, and so you had those two kind of like not at times at conflict with each other because obviously Salt and Moravia, but they had to kind of like they were two parts of one whole. And then obviously now with the ascension of Glockta to be the de facto ruler of the Union, obviously the Inquisition has the majority of the power nowadays. And they're much more entrenched.
Well, it's exactly what you mean. In all like civilized societies, there are that balance between the police and the law.
Yeah.
And obviously the law has gone, and now it's just the police. So yeah, it's a full-on police state at this point.
Yeah.
It almost is. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. So that's our character spot. Lord Palmhall, we hope to see you in more chapters. Otherwise, we hardly knew ye.
Lord Palmholt will be returning, and the trouble with he won't be.
He's definitely a body on a pile somewhere.
Maybe we get to see him visit his doctor for his narcolepsy. I don't know. We'll see. But
that's
with
the happy ending, is it?
It's a happy ending for him or anybody in this goddamn series.
Yeah, he had to go to his doctor in Soljuk for his narcolepsy. Just in time,
Just in time. And so we'll move on to our final chapter read-through, which is Sinking Ships. And this one was an interesting one because now we're back in Vic's perspective. And I enjoyed the confusion in Vic, right, with Vic, because she is obviously, her and Tallow are going around Valbec looking for the meetings that the Breakers are holding. And she thought it would be, she thinks it's going to be a bit more secretive. That people be acting more furtive than anything. Turns out they're like, oh, you're looking for the Breakers? Oh, yeah. Hey, Billy, where the Breakers meet at? Like that.
That's hilarious.
That's perfect. And that's exactly how I'd like to see it if this was like a film. You could just do like a montage of just asking various people, like, oh, yeah, it's just down there.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. She goes, what the fuck? And she finally gets to this warehouse, right? That's where the meeting's held at. Gunner Broad is outside, and she thinks he's guarding the door. And he goes, I'm not guarding the door. I just need to get some air. This judge lady, she makes me nervous. And she obviously, when she walks up to Gunner to ask him to let her in, she clocks, big guy, tattoos, ladderman, first through the siege, all that stuff, 5 times up the walls. Yeah, that's a bad motherfucker. And but he goes, oh, just go in. I don't know. I'm not the guard here. And so she goes in, and there's like 500 people. This place is packed to the fucking brim. And obviously, and apparently they're well organized. I mean, you even have soldiers there. They're not just like waving pitchforks. There's pole arms, swords, fucking flat bows, everything. And on the stage, and the stage is really just an old wagon, but on the stage is Judge. Ladies and gentlemen, the first appearance of this psychopathic woman, who's
you ain't wrong, Jeffrey. You ain't wrong.
Yeah,
I like there was loads of speculation. We'll get this right out of the way straight away that she might have been Koska's daughter because of the old rusty scarred breastplate.
Oh, what are you talking about? That's crazy.
Such a tenuous thread, but we'll get it out of the way straight away. No.
Yep.
I thought you were going to talk about the fucking thing that she's Ro.
That's the other one as well. She might be right, but I think she's too. Well, the age works out right, but there's no other indication apart from that. So,
Well, she
Yeah,
mentioned that she was from the far country, or she had been in the far country. But this is actually just Joe's version of Heath Ledger's Joker, really.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, she does do the multiple different backstories, unreliable narrator style.
yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously, as we read through this and I get like refreshed on her backstories or whatever, we'll see. But I just don't think she's Ro at all. So
It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it doesn't make any. It just really doesn't make any sense. So Judge is a fiery redhead, let's say that, and
Ooh,
she's out. Yeah, I know you do, and who doesn't actually? And so she is out here screaming at the top of her lungs things like the time for talk's long past. Nothing was ever got with talk that couldn't be got with fire. So we're like, oh Jesus, we have a pyromaniac, folks. We have a psycho. And so she's just talking out loud, screaming about how to burn things down and everything. Gunner comes back in and he goes, what did I tell you? This bitch is crazy. And then Malmer comes up and he is the, I guess, polar opposite in terms of demeanor to Judge. And he's not as all burn it all down, but he is very much this all fucking sucks. He's talking to the breakers and everything. And Vic is go ahead.
What I could really kind of put this down to, it's sort of because people like to point to like the French Revolution, and there's something like this did happen after the revolution, but this kind of reminds me of like the revolution in Russia. It's like the difference between like the Trotskyists and the Stalinists. So you can see that right from the beginning, that there's this split, and they both talk on the same stage at the same time to appeal to the same people rather than killing each other straight away, which is kind of what happened.
Right. Yeah.
So I find that quite interesting that he's mixing all these different kind of revolutionary attitudes together. So you obviously got the Industrial Revolution and then like a communist / Luddite revolution mixed in with it.
That's a good point. I think that, a lot of people try to say this is like this is like this, but Joe loves history and everything. He obviously pulls from it, but he's never the person to be like, this is the exact copy of this one event, which is great. I think that's really well said on the differences there.
Yeah. Really interesting. Obviously, so like you said, George, it's not necessarily that they're contradicting each other. They just have different.
It's the same thing with Joe, isn't it? Like everybody wants the right thing, but nobody can decide what it is.
Yep.
And half of them want something reasonable, and the other half just want to burn everything down because.
Right. That's it. Because like Malmer agrees that it's whatever that they want. It can only be bought with blood. However, there needs to be a plan. Whereas Judge is kind of just like burn it all down, but
that'll solve everything.
Yeah. Well, Malmer goes, no, we need to actually have like a plan. We need to figure things out. And then somebody else comes up on stage as says, no, yes, that we will have a plan, no less than everything. And guess who the fuck it is? Gunner goes, that's the Weaver. And it's fucking Superior Rizanow.
Whoa. Oh, what? He's so much more competent than I ever would have thought.
Yeah. And this guy...
I knew something was going on here immediately because I was like, we only got this character like the last chapter, so then either Joe's really gone downhill or there's something more going on here.
That he's the Weaver. And Vic is like, oh, what the fuck? And Vic, obviously it says that like if she had been off balance before, she was knocked on her back now.
Yeah, I love that because she's there expecting for them to be like, that's her guy who she can rely on to take care of shit whenever she figures out what's going on. And now she's got nobody there. Now she's got to she doesn't exactly have a game plan anymore.
Obviously, this is just Vic kind of getting a sense of what's going on. But Rizanow talks about how he wrote to the Archlector himself, although under a pseudonym, I guess, outlining the all the various complaints, and that apparently the Archlector wrote back to a pseudonym.
I
saying,
want to. If you
go,
want to do some spoilers now, I'd like to know if you guys think that Rizanau knows that Glockter is doing this, or if he's just working through, what he gets from Pike.
well, you know what? I think maybe at the end of the day, doesn't Vic say that Glockter's description of Rizanau was that plenty of loyalty? Do you think he goes down with the ship? Like he knows?
I don't know. Just from the way that things work out in Wisdom of Crowds, I don't know. Unless that was the bit that was kept secret from him,
Maybe.
Maybe he's playing the whole pompous part on purpose,
It's a great actor in that case, if that's the case.
He's a very good actor. But it's interesting. He could be. It's really hard to say. It's a good point, George. Like he really could be on Team Galacta, but I feel like what we learn about him later on implies that like he doesn't know everything that's going on. It's pretty much only Pike. So I think that he thinks the Weaver is Pike. That's what I think right now. I think that's where he's at.
Okay.
I definitely think that. Yeah, I think he is just a kind of an idealist, and he kind of fancies himself as like this savior. He's got like such an ego on him that he just doesn't really see what's coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then he obviously talks about how that apparently the Archlector basically dismissed the complaints and says progress cannot be changed. And that the time has come. The time has come for us to throw off the yoke. We must bring the great change.
Great change.
Great change.
Great change.
And everyone's cheering and everything. And Rizanau talks about how that they are going to take Valbec, not to burn the city, but to free the city, to give it back to the people, to stand as an example to the rest of the Union. And Gunnar obviously is muttering to himself, like, yeah, that's not going to be easy. And then so what Vic does, she immediately grabs Tallow and marches him towards the wall and tells, like, yo, get out of here and go right to Adjua. Find who, to our employer, my employer. Tell him what you saw tonight. Tell him who the Weaver is. She's trusting him to get it done. And he's like, you're not coming? She goes, no, someone has to try to handle this. So she tells him to leave. And she really obviously wants to leave, too, because what the fuck? This is crazy. She turns around, she sees Rizanau and Judge and Malmer walking towards her. And Rizanau goes, this must be Victorine Dan Teufel. I had heard you in Valbec. And now Vic goes, oh, fuck. Because obviously Superior Rizanau is part of the Inquisition. He knows things. And then he goes, Colum Sybalt told me all about you. And she goes, good things, I hope. And he goes, yes. You said you were a woman with a hard heart and a level head. A woman as committed to our cause as any. A woman who could keep her wits on a sinking ship. Colum Sybalt was a dear friend. Any friend of his is a friend of mine. And then Judge is immediately like, I don't trust this one. And, whatever. Okay, Judge, calm down.
I find that funny, though, because obviously even if Rizanau doesn't know Hill, he can't exactly turn around and go, oh, she's Inquisition, so she must be a traitor. Because he's Inquisition. So he can't exactly...
Yeah, exactly.
And so real quick, not real quick, I'll talk about this after this, but yeah, and, Rizanau goes, yes, tomorrow, this is, because Vic goes, oh, what are we on, a sinking ship or something? And, which, kudos to Vic for keeping her cool. And he goes, a ship is headed for a great change tomorrow. Midday is midday tomorrow, and tomorrow is the day for the start of the great change, apparently. And that's how the chapter ends. I did want to ask you. Go ahead, George.
I was going to ask just before everything. Do you think it's interesting that they're aware of Baez?
Yeah.
So they bring up the Baez as like the puppet master, like everybody is like. Just knows about this, and everybody's like, yeah, fuck Baez.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of reasons why I feel that way. I think that's accurate. One, I think the main reason why is the spread of information is completely different to how it was before. They have a printing press now. They write papers and everything, and that's been the case for several years now. Number two, the person inciting all this is somebody who's diametrically opposed to Baez, and so that has Glock is intentionally doing that. That way, even if Bias isn't directly involved or whatever, that people don't like him. They're not going to be fond of him. And number 3, he did blow up half the Agriant and make himself well known in the Union. It's only been a generation. And he was basically going around, like in the Heroes, it's implied that every single soldier knows who he is now. Because he like walks in and everyone goes, holy shit, it's Lord Bias. So like, he is the head of the closed council. So to me, it makes totally logical sense that they're against him.
Yeah. Well, I guess the idea is like they are aware of who Baez is, and this isn't like the original trilogy where everyone's like, Baez, that's a myth. Like, oh no,
not financial thing. They're not aware that he like owns the banks. Or
right? They're
like
not.
that.
I don't. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, they're just aware of Baez because he can make people explode. So there's that.
Variety of ways.
Yeah, in a variety of ways. Yeah, that's good. What I did want to ask, or I think ask you guys, or point out, is that do you think Rizanel knew Vic from Sibalt, from the Archlector, or both? If it's not both,
I mean, I think Glock is definitely, he sent Vic there, so he said to Pike, tell Rizanel that Victorine's Untold was going to be there, and she's, to be a conspirator. So it's definitely it's weird, isn't it?
There's a couple ways that I think that works in different ways. So it could just be the fact that Sybil did mention her and said, hey, she's a patriot, she's brother in arm. Right now, it's totally in character for him to be like, oh yes, my sister. Like it makes, he's an idealist. He doesn't even have to be a part of the game. That's why they chose him for this role. Pike did, at least, because he would just welcome anybody. He doesn't need. They don't need organization at this point. They just need somebody who is the top dog. So I think that is. I think it's plausible that he just heard from him. He may not even be in on it, but if he does, that still works. But the next aspect of that is that I was thinking about. Do you think Tallow is just as shocked? Or do you think he's like, oh yeah, oh no, Vic, what are we gonna do?
yeah. Honestly, he probably already knew.
He probably just has that one face that just looks very sad. And Vic
And
looks at him and goes, "Oh,
sad and confused. Sad and confused. Yeah, I mean,
that's all he has to do. That's fine. Because you remind me of little bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
I don't know. Bro. Maybe Tallow does know. I think.
I don't think he's. I mean, it's easy to think he must know everything, but he has a job. That his job is Vic. So I don't think he does. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe. What would you boys rate this chapter?
I really like him. It's really good reveal that the Breakers and the Burners are more than what everybody expects them to be, or at least what we're led that everybody thinks that they expect them to be, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's just really well done. The rhetoric is incredible. It just carries over from every fucking time that anybody's ever done something like this, where they try to lead a revolution. It's the same fears and the same worries that everybody has that brings people to violence. And obviously they're not in the wrong here, because this is a very fucking awful place to live. And you know what? If I were in their position, I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, me too. It is a shit place and shit people, and
shit place. And
it's just very. I think I'm gonna give this one an 8 and a knuckle.
Wow. Okay, Harrison.
I think the reel's done really well too. I mean, I think I'm gonna give it. I don't like it as much as George, but I'm gonna give it an 8 as well, because it's just played out. I like how Broad too is like, he's there, but like everyone just assumes that he's like an enforcer.
Yeah.
It's just that woman. I don't know, man.
Yeah. He's sitting outside like, man, I need a smoke break. Some girl walks up to him. She's like, you're guarding the door, and he's like, I'm just standing here. And then they go inside, and they're like, you let her in, and he's like, I'm not employed.
I'm not employed here. I don't work here.
And everybody's done that, Everybody's gone up to somebody and gone, asked them a question. They're like, I don't know, I don't work here.
She doesn't even go here. I liked the chapter. I didn't love it as much as you guys did. I'll give it a 6 and a knuckle. I guess 'cause it's so short, but I enjoyed it. You know, it was a good, like you said, reveal. First time ever you read this, you go, Risen now? What the fuck? For that's at least for when I remember. But besides that reveal and the introduction of Judge as well, you know, we know who Malmer is. We know who Gunner is, obviously. And now it looks like stuff's about to pop off. So I'll give it a 6 and a knuckle.
And we know that Savine is going to be in danger as well.
Oh, we have an idea. Yeah, just because of the build up there. That's right. That's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you know, this is a passion project for the three of us, and your support means oh so much.
Join us next week as we do a special episode.
And make sure you follow us on all of our social media or shoot us an email at circleoftheworldpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts from. And please make sure to rate and review us. Thank you all again for listening.
There will be a reckoning.